Welcome to SEO Hangouts with Josh Bachynski. I am the aforementioned Bachynski of Josh. Today I'm going to talk to you about the mobile first index and what the mobile first index probably means for SEO in 2017. It's not the end of the world, but it does mean some significant things. So I'd like to talk to you about what that means. And I'm going to go through my notes. I have copious notes of many Google leaks and secrets and Hangouts and things like that. And I'm going to go through those notes and mention all the times it was mentioned. And I'm going to then, in the end, talk about what I think, what you have to worry about for that particular thing. So back in November 24th, John Mueller mentioned the mobile first index in a Hangout. It was mentioned earlier by Google, but John Mueller, my particular Google source, if you will, I guess, he didn't really mention it until then. And he did reiterate that mobile is becoming more and more important. Just so you know, over 50% now of searches on Google are done on mobile devices. That's to say devices like this right here. The majority of people are searching Google on this device here, or a device like this, or iPhone or whatever. Mostly Android, actually. There's more Androids in the world than there are iPhones currently. And I mean, it's largely because Google has been giving away Androids free or at a very, very low cost in the second and third world for years now. But worldwide, there's more Androids out there than iPhones. Of course, it might differ in the US or in Canada if that's where you're trying to rank. So you need to check your analytics to see what people are going to your site for. Make sure you're designing it correctly. But I'll get to that in a second. So they mentioned the mobile first index. It's not, and then also in December 2nd, then he starts to mention some more interesting things. And so just let me tell you what it is first. The mobile first index is this, is that up until now, Google has been using the desktop version of your pages to rank your site, and then they make adjustments on that for mobile rankings. So for example, if your desktop pages were of a certain quality, laid out in a certain way, they'd be using all those signals for rankings. And then they would adjust your mobile rankings up or down, probably not up, probably down, based on the speed, based on the mobile rendering, if you had any mobile problems, and based on more or less stuff like that, I guess. I suppose later into whether or not you could terminate the search, because at first they couldn't actually watch clicks on mobile. That was about a year ago changed, and they could watch clicks on mobile when they extended something called the Safe Browse feature to mobile. This is how Google tracks the clicks. Now, so realize what that means. That means they are rendering the page in desktop. They are calculating where things are, and they are giving you a quality score based on this and other factors. There's other factors as well. But there are static design factors they rank on and giving you a ranking based on this. Now they're switching the Googlebot user agent from a desktop user agent to report that it's a mobile agent. That's the only change they're making, right? They're just making that switch. So websites will automatically, the web server will see they're looking for it's a mobile user agent, and the web server will give you the mobile version of the site if any such version exists, right? If you have a responsive design, that is to say it's the same design for both desktop and mobile depending on the size of the window, and you can actually drag your window back and forth to see the responsive design responding. That's what they call it, responsive design. And that's all done through HTML and CSS and stuff like that. And it's on the same URLs. That's what a responsive design is, technically. I guess supposedly you could have a responsive design on a different set of URLs and have the web server say, oh, you're a mobile user agent, I'll give you m.whatever.com as opposed to whatever.com. But this is what it means. And so Google's going to change their Googlebot from a desktop user agent to a mobile user agent. Now, what that means for you, my fine young friends, and older friends too, that means that your web server is going to start giving them the mobile version of the site if such a thing exists. Now, that for most of the web, that's not going to be such a big deal. And at first I thought, yeah, who cares? Not a big deal. Then I started realizing, and then Google started saying things, and I started realizing, okay, wait a minute, actually, this is going to be a much bigger deal than I possibly think it could be. Because first, the question is, are you serving different kind of content from your mobile to your desktop? If your mobile has different content than your desktop, then this could be a big deal because it's going to change the text on the page, it's going to change the layout of the page, and Google is going to rank those pages differently. I repeat, Your mobile version of the site might have different text on the page and might have a different layout on the page, different ads, different placements, different kind of structure, different even URLs possibly. That's going to change your rankings fairly significantly when Google makes the switch to the mobile first index. In fact, the update we saw on the 15th of December could very well be the start of them doing the mobile indexing switch. So that is important in and of itself. Now, if you're using a responsive design, again, it's not such a big deal. Now, it used to be the case that if you have like tabs or whatever with hidden content, that Google wouldn't use that content for ranking. They no longer give you a penalty for having cloaked content or hidden content of that nature anyway, but they won't use it for ranking. Only the visible content used for ranking. A week before they announced the mobile first index, John Mueller also announced that that's not the case anymore, that on mobile, they are going to read all of the content on that page, even the hidden content, and they're going to rank your site based off of that. So now put 2 and 2 together. That means now for the mobile first index, they're going to read all the content on the page, whether it's in a hidden tab or not, and they're going to rank your page based on that content. Again, you might not see any differences depending on what you have in those hidden tabs. But if you have stuff, so you got to think now. You got to use you're going to use your brain and think a little bit. What am I hiding in those tabs, or what's the difference between my desktop content and my mobile content? And is it going to be more on keyword point or less on keyword point? Is it going to be too much on keyword point or not enough on keyword point? Does my design change drastically? Does my design change in other ways as well? Well, I'll get to in a second. So with those things in mind, here's some extra things that John Mueller also mentioned. So on December 2nd, he had a hangout, and he said, regarding the mobile first indexing, he said, yes, your site also needs to be faster. And that he did very strongly imply that for the mobile first indexing, because remember, they're going to use the mobile version of the site to rank your desktop site. So some people might be thinking, well, it doesn't matter. I don't have that much mobile traffic. But that doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is they're using your mobile site to rank your desktop site, whether you have a lot of mobile traffic or not. 1. 2, you might be grievously underestimating the amount of mobile traffic you have or could have if you were ranking well for mobile. Again, over 50% of Google's traffic is coming from mobile now. And so that means that ostensibly, over 50% of your traffic could be coming from mobile too. It varies greatly depending on the niche, of course, on your business and where your traffic is coming from and stuff like that. But that could very well be happening, right? So don't assume. So again, I repeat, they're going to use the mobile version of your site to rank your desktop site and your mobile site, your entire site. So once that finally clues in, you go, that could actually make a huge difference depending on what's going on. And again, so I worry immediately about other factors like speed, user interface, clicks, task completion. And so John Mueller has just recently started saying stuff about this, and I'll keep reporting. Watch my YouTube channel. By the way, if you have any questions on this, before I forget, I'm just going to say it now. You can email me at joshbachynski@gmail.com. You can follow me at Twitter at joshbachynski, and you can find more leaks like this and keep on top of these SEO leaks, this SEO, too much beer. You can keep track of this SEO issue, and any other SEO issue on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/jbachyns. That's JBACHYNS. Christmas. So, or Hanukkah, Ramadan, Kwanzaa, whatever I don't care, whatever your thing. The Great Spaghetti Monster Festival, whatever it is. Okay. So he said on December 2nd that your site should be faster. He implied very strongly that your mobile, they're using all the mobile ranking factors to rank the desktop site. Now, this is a complete game changer, even more than what I've already said, because mobile has always had a penalty if it's on the mobile ranking, if it's too slow, which is a much more strict penalty than on the desktop side. On the desktop side, they don't really give a penalty for a slow site until it reaches around 20 seconds, supposedly, they say. But they do always add a caveat to that discussion saying your users will find it very good if it's faster, and if it's good for users, you should do it. Translation, we also are tracking user clicks, and if you add a couple seconds lag time to your site and add the bounce rate because of that, that's going to be a problem. But now they're saying they've always been much more strict on the mobile side. Because remember, mobile sites don't go on, even if you have the fastest 3G or LTE speed, That's still not that fast, right? And mobile sites can take a long time to load. And if you look at the bounce rates, typically it's worse on the mobile side of things, right? So if they start using those bounce rates to rank your desktop site, that could be a serious problem. That could be a very serious problem. I would recommend strongly you look at your analytics now, and this is what he was strongly implying in this statement on December 2nd. It was closer to the end of the Hangout. It's my last note from that Hangout, so it's got to be closer to the end. So, no, this is pretty crazy. If that's what they're doing, I didn't think that's what they were doing, but that's what they're doing. This is pretty nuts. And he also mentioned in the same conversation that design changes matter as well, and they will be doing the quality processing on the mobile version. So he implied strongly that speed and user interface, and they'll be doing the quality processing not on your desktop version anymore, but on the mobile version. That could affect your desktop ranking. Now, again, I don't know if they're going to do this. I didn't think they were going to do this. This makes no sense in my head that they would do this. I'm pretty sure, but he was pretty strongly implying this. So I'm on the fence now. I'm 50-50. I'm like, I can only imagine, because they can render your desktop version, right? That's why they told us not to block the CSS or JS anymore. And they can render the desktop version. You can see what they render in Search Console. And they do say they give you some kind of a penalty, or it is a black mark against you if what you see rendered in Search Console is not what Googlebot sees. If it's not the same thing, you're blocking stuff. By the way, if you didn't know that, if you're blocking CSS and JS, that's a black mark against you, and it could very well be holding your rankings back. However, that being said, I always thought they would process the desktop rankings for the desktop site and the mobile rankings for the mobile site. That's why I didn't think this was such a big deal. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, fine. Doesn't really matter. But he's implying strongly that it does matter. For not only, and the context of this conversation was not only for mobile ranking, but for your desktop ranking as well. Because the mobile site is now what they're going to use for your desktop ranking. So it sounded much to me like they're going to have a mobile quality score, and that's going to be your quality score for the entire site, desktop or otherwise. And he also mentioned that you need the schema on your mobile site. By the way, he said if your HTML is not valid, Googlebot has trouble processing schema. So you need valid HTML first, and then you need to put your schema in there and your structured data. And don't spam your structured data. Don't say you have reviews and you don't have reviews or ratings, stuff like that. But if you have an article site, you should use an article schema. If it's a product page selling a product, you should have a product schema with the price and the quantity and the categories. Check your Search Console for errors and stuff like that. And you need all the other stuff that you need for quality on your mobile site. So remember, again, this is going to be a bit of a brain, messing with your brain to get this through. But the mobile site is what they're using for rankings now. So all the little content tricks you've been using on desktop to rank, and there's a lot of content tricks, really powerful ones you can use on desktop to rank. If you weren't porting that over to the mobile site and you don't have good user metrics on your mobile site, that's going to be a problem, not only for mobile ranking, but also possibly for desktop ranking is what he was saying here. And then the next one here, let's just do a little short hangout talking about this. Then the next one he mentioned was on December 6th. He did mention that we do penalize interstitials and pop-ups on mobile. So if you have a pop-up or interstitial, any kind of thing that comes up and annoys the user, that's exactly what they have a specific penalty for. And so he didn't mention it in this conversation, but my question is, okay, so is that going to penalize your desktop site as well? Because if they're using mobile as the main rankings, like they used for the desktop, like if you got a Panda penalty back in the day, if you got a Panda penalty on your desktop site, your mobile site went down as well, right? They were using the desktop site as the main rankings and the mobile was just an adjustment. Now they're going to use the mobile site as the main rankings and the desktop is just going to be an adjustment. So if you get a Panda penalty because you have quality issues, vis-a-vis in this particular conversation, interstitials and pop-ups, or too many ads above the fold, or bad user metrics, whatever it is, does that mean your desktop site's going to start ranking badly now? So this is a major problem, and we got to watch this really, really carefully. So, and yeah, so I mean, and the other thing I want to talk about for mobile is what about titles and click-through rate? That's important as well. So remember, the width and the way that your title and meta description snippet is shown differently on mobile. I did some tests recently, and on desktop you have about 600 pixels for your title tag. On mobile it wraps, and you have about 607 pixels for your title tag. So you actually have 7 extra pickles. You have 7 extra pickles on your mobile site. Again, don't drink beer and then make hangouts. So you have 7 extra pixels to display on your mobile title on the Google SERP, on the Google Search Engine Results page, than you do for desktop. But on desktop, it doesn't wrap, or it does sometimes with just a ... But on mobile, it will wrap. And so keep in mind, you need to take a look at the mobile SERPs to make sure that your snippet, your title and meta description looks really good and really enticing, has a call to action, use the 5 psychology power words, you knew free best because, you knew now free because. So you tell them when it is, it's now, buy it now, buy today. You tell them why, because it's the best, it's good, it's free, it's awesome, it's the best thing. Give a perk, click now, call to action, so that they click your titles. And make sure that looks good both on desktop, but it also now has to also look good on mobile as well. So that's just a short little hangout. I just want to mention this stuff to you guys. I'm going to try to make these videos more often, and maybe they'll be shorter if I limit it to a specific topic. So I'll be doing lots more podcasts and lots more videos, but in the future. But again, keep in mind that this is a serious issue, and again, I'm not sure that it sounds like they're going to use the mobile site for all the rankings, and the desktop is just going to be adjustment up or down. So maybe that the quality will be an adjustment up and down, but if you get some kind of a quality penalty on the mobile, they can be very harsh and very draconian and very, very, very selective. They have something like over 100 trillion pages now. It used to be 40 trillion pages. Now, recently, it's been like 130 trillion is the number I heard thrown around recently from Google of pages they know about. So they have to be even more selective. They're being uber selective. And when I say something in German, you know it's serious with the umlauts on it. They're being uber selective when it comes to what pages to rank. And again, this is, at first they're just sneaking this in the mobile first index. It's not a big deal. It's not the Mobilegeddon again. It's not an Armageddon thing. But the more John Mueller talks about it and he warns people and he makes that face like, hey, you guys are not going to like this. He makes that face. I know that face very well. I'm starting to get worried that this could actually be a pretty big Mobilegeddon. So check your mobile site. Make sure that everything's okay. If you don't know what to check or you don't know how to check, email me. I can help you out. joshbachynski@gmail.com. Follow me at Twitter at joshbachynski, and you can see more videos like this at youtube.com/jbachins. So a nice short video for you guys today. And as always, good luck in the SERPs. And I hope to have more videos for you. So I won't sign off saying Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'll see you next year because I think I'll have more videos before then. Probably between Christmas and New Year's. I might have an end of the year extravaganza with all the best leaks of 2016. So watch out for that. That'll be nuts because there have been some nuts, crazy leaks in 2016. And I'm going to go through them in order of importance just to round the awesome year out that it's been. But it is awesome, actually, because the more Google makes changes, the easier it is for us to exploit those changes and rank sites. It's not easy to rank sites in Google, but there are definitely ways to do it, and you can make tons of money doing it. So, and I know how, and I'll help you. I'd love to help you to do it because I love it when people are making money off Google and Google's not making the money themselves. So with that, I bid you adieu. I bid you good day. And as I say, as always, good luck in the SERPs.